Hey there, I'm Robert Boos, and I'm pleased to take a minute to come on here and to talk about my experiences with Sally and her program to speak through sound waves to our departed children. I lost my son almost 6 years ago and have had a number of experiences with mediums and different processes like that, and have had some success with that, some uneven experiences with that. Had some that went really well, some that were like, well, that might not have been the best one for me. So I was really interested when a friend, Michelle, that I help administer a child loss group with, said, you really have to talk to Sally. And so I was excited. She said she had a very good experience in speaking with her son, and that it was just a big deal for her. So I respect Michelle a lot, and I've dealt with her a lot, and we lost children about the same time. So when you deal with someone that you've been on this journey with, you gain a certain trust there, and I certainly had that. So set up an appointment and talk to Sally. Planned on it being, I mean, the others I've done have been 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and the other hosts, the mediums, the different ones you deal with, they always generally take the lead and talk a lot and just start, shooting out random facts. Some of them hit, some of them don't. Sally's different in that a couple of things. Let me go first that the session went much longer than I thought. It was close to 2 hours. She's kind of going with the flow and what she hears and is able to share with us. Um, and we had started out saying, well, it's going just keep it down to just you and I and your child, and we'll keep it very very tight there, and we'll go with that, and more about that in a minute because that was really interesting part of it. Um, so she gets this sound wave, and she ends up going through it, communicating, with my child the night before, a couple of nights before. So the anticipation really built because the more I went on her Facebook group, the more I looked through the comments of others. This was different. This was not what I'm used to in the few times I've spoke to a medium. This was completely different. So the day comes, and I sit right here on this computer that I'm talking in now and start this conversation. And I've got a notepad out in front of me and ready to start keeping track of what's going on and what is said and what happens. And we start talking, we start going through this sound wave, and there's just a bunch of things that strike me. Remember, I had said before that Sally says, well, we're going to just you and I and Kevin, that we're going to spend this time together. And that would be very exciting. That would be very interesting. Um, and captured the essence of my son immediately because when it started, one of the first things that he says through the sound waves is I love you, Dad. I really miss you. Where's Shannon? Shannon is his sister, who he is exceptionally close to. They were almost twins, about 16 months apart. And he just went on and on in this sound wave about where Shannon, I want to talk to Shannon. And I said, we said, well, she's not here. She's not in this. And he said, no, she's here. She can listen. And it was true. We were over a computer. We went and grabbed Shannon and pulled her right onto the call. And then it just went from there. Um, he had very specific, very current things to talk to Shannon about. A couple of things that I can remember. One of the main thing was that he liked her new house, and she had just moved. She had moved a couple of years ago, but she's done a lot of work on that house. And then he said, "Well, what's all the stretching? Well, what are you doing with all the stretching?" And I had no idea what he was talking about. And I saw it physically hit her face, and she goes to Sally and I. She says, I started yoga about 3, 4 days ago. I hadn't told anybody, and all I do is stretch all day. So it validated it almost immediately that that was there. Um, Kevin was killed in a drunk driving crash in 2015 with two of his friends, Morgan and Vincenzo. What was unique to this video as well is that Morgan and Vincenzo wanted to come in. Kevin said the others from the car are here, and was it okay? Because there's clearly, as Sally can tell you, there's clearly some rules set up. And boy, did my son always needed rules. He was always very, all over the place with everything. But he asked. We brought them in. They gave messages for their family, which I immediately shared, and that was wonderful. Um, Vincenzo, very gregarious kid, and he was immediately, you got to tell my mom, you got to tell my mom, you got to tell my mom about Sally. And he, in in the reading, in the moment with Kevin where Vincenzo came in, Vincenzo's trying to book an appointment. So that was so him that he was trying to, you know, find a day, find a time. I want to talk to my mom, and I've shared that, and they're going to be talking um, soon. So it was 2 hours. It was wonderful. It was exhausting, but it was so enlightening. It made us feel so good that you know there's so much out there that you don't know until you know that there's actually a connection there. That oh, I talked to your son some random stuff, but this was specific. Um, Please take care of my dog. Name the dog by name. We're playing and hearing the words in this sound wave that are exactly what he was saying. Um, the one startling thing was Sally saying to me, and Sally is wonderful, and she says to me, "Okay, he's here. What do you want to ask him?" And he's been gone 6 years, and I can think of hundreds of things that I want to ask him, and I couldn't think of anything, and I blanked totally. And I just asked him, did he know how long he's been gone, and does was anyone there waiting for him, and will he be waiting there for us? And he really picked up on the waiting there for us. He will definitely be there when it's our day to transition. He'll be there waiting for us. That makes me feel better because that's one thing that I've always talked about is that when that day comes, you push against death, you fight death, you're going to fight to live. But it's different when you have a child on the other side that you say, they're there. I want to see them. I'm not going to hasten anything, but I'm going to accept the day that I transition and I'm going to go there. So beautiful words, really validated it for us. Sally is an absolute delight. So enjoyed talking to her. She spent so much time listening through to actually hear the words and the sound wave is incredible. It's something different. If you've done anything like this, prepare to be turned on your heels because this is completely different. It's charming, it's delightful. But in your mind, think about your child, your loved one that's gone, and there's so many things you wanted to say, you wanted to ask, you wanted to do. You're going to get your chance. You're going to be connected to them where they can respond real time in this sound wave, and you're going to be really surprised. So I fully recommend it. I would just like to talk to Sally, just to talk to her, even if there wasn't a sound wave again. She brings in that validation of someone that has a child in spirit, and that means a lot to someone that has lost, that you have someone that understands. Again, an overall wonderful experience. Thank you.